I built a bot that copies the trades of top global traders so I can use it without knowing anything about the stock market. In this video, we won't discuss financial terms, we're just going to copy and paste. This lazy strategy can be great or terrible depending on whom you copy. You're copying me, my copy. My idea comes from a simple observation. There are people who make better investments than average, they outperform the market, and alongside that, a study by the AMF showed that only 16% of individual traders were profitable over a year. As an individual trader, wouldn't it be easier to just copy someone successful and do that for 60 days? To make the experiment more interesting, we'll copy 5 people with different techniques. From a US Congress member to a professional trader, and even Sebastian, who sells access to his Telegram channel, we'll see if we make or lose money by giving each a €1,000 budget. I have to remind you that this video is primarily for entertainment purposes. Don't do what I'm about to do and don't take this as investment advice. Discussing the stock market, especially using a copy trading bot, it's crucial to remember this field is very risky and you can lose significant money. To understand how you can make or lose money with the stock market, we need to spend 30 seconds going over what a stock actually is, and more specifically, why the price of a stock changes. In this video, we're going to focus on what's called trading, which means we're going to invest over relatively short periods of time from a few days to a few weeks, hoping that during this time the stocks we've bought will be worth more. Let's take the example of a random company, Google for example. We can imagine, to simplify, that Google is a company divided into 100 equal small parts, 100 shares. If I own 50 shares, then I own half of Google. To get these shares, I had to buy them on the stock market, which is what we call the stock exchange. And at that specific moment, let's say Google was a company worth €10,000, so each share cost €200. Except that 3 days later, miraculously, Google announces some excellent news, and so the company increases in value. It's now worth €11,000. Mathematically, the price of my shares went from €200 to €220, so I would have made money if I sold them. We made a good move. Now, and really, keep this in mind if you invest, it's a mechanism that works both ways. Disaster. 4 days later, Google announces some really bad news. Let's say a data center burned down. Its value dropped to €9,000. Well, my shares are now only worth €180 each, and I've lost money. That's why this experience is pretty stressful. So my plan is to allocate €1,000 to 5 people that I'm going to copy. Just one person's mistake could cost me a lot of money, and I have little control over it. Oddly, the Telegram trader makes me a bit uneasy. So, I told you we were going to do some trading, but what we're actually going to do has an even more specific name. We're going to do copy trading. As you might have guessed, that's because we're copying someone, and when I searched copy trading on Google, one name kept coming up over and over again: Nancy Pelosi. She's an American politician, highly influential, who's been a member of the US Congress for 40 years, but what interests us most about her is this chart. This shows how her stock portfolio has evolved. It's impressive. For comparison, we can overlay the performance of the famous S&P 500 index, meaning what she would have earned if instead she had invested in the 500 largest American companies. Although the S&P 500 has done well recently, this is even more impressive. Still, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Everything can drop suddenly. But I think you understand why I want to copy her. The interesting thing about American politicians is that there's a law requiring them to publicly declare all their stock market transactions, which is very cool for us. On this site, for example, I can see every day all the moves made by members of Congress. That's crazy being able to see that. On the other hand, this guy lost 87%. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That perfectly shows that you can lose. Anyway, we'll see after 2 months if we pick the right person. The system's limitation, because there is one, is that they have a legal deadline of 45 days to declare. That means, well, Nancy Pelosi, we're going to copy her with a month-and-a-half delay, which is not negligible at all under normal circumstances. Well, we'll see at the end of the video if it was profitable for me. Here, we have access to the data. Next, we'll automate this so it buys and sells automatically, meaning I won't have to think about it. That's where we'll create our bot, Ruth the Trader. Our bot is going to be super simple, 10 times simpler than the trading bot we already tried in a previous video. Basically, there will be 2 systems, eyes to see the data and arms to buy and sell. No brain to analyze anything. As for the eyes, each time the source will be different. But for Nancy, I found a public API that lets you get all her moves as soon as she declares them. But already here, well, we can't run this. There's an error. Here, for example, she sold some stocks, except that we just started, so we don't have that stock yet. For the experiment to work, I need to copy her entire current portfolio exactly as it is right now. So she has $100 million invested. We're going to apply those same percentages to €1,000, and I created this little web interface that will let us track our investments. Here, you can already see what it looks like for now. Again, this is not advice. Don't copy this. And the advantage of my interface is that I connected it to an API that fetches the market value of each stock in real time. So over time, we'll be able to create graphs showing how our stocks are performing. Combine all graphs for a single red total curve. Start with €1,000 with Nancy. Use different colors for other people we copy. Show everything on one graph for a real competition. The final step is the hands. I connected Ruth to an online broker with an API so she can execute buy and sell orders through code. When I do this, I realize you really have to trust your program. Handling real money in code is stressful because you can't afford a single mistake with a zero. And there you go, Ruth the trader is active. We have a complete copy trading system. It's going to be able to run on its own, and like I told you, we're not going to stop there. We're going to connect 4 other data sources for traders from the most serious to the most original. What is this thing? We're going to move on to Sebastian. Well, his name isn't actually Sebastian. I changed his name so I could be completely honest in the video, let's put it that way. It would be a guy who developed a super innovative analysis that could predict the next market moves. And since Seb is a really nice guy, he shares all his recommendations in a Telegram channel for a subscription of €50.59, 59.99 to be precise. I've always wondered what that's really worth. You've probably seen ads with guys in front of a rented Dubai villa claiming they've cracked the stock market and selling access to their course or channel. You might think I'm recommending you try it, but here's Sebastian's Telegram channel. I hope this satisfies your curiosity without any cost. I'll show you a bit what the messages the guy sends on the channel look like. So there aren't a ton of explanations each time, you really just have to trust him. Honestly, it's pretty unusual. Maybe I'm just being a bit negative or, yeah, no, honestly, it's unusual. Well, the thing that bothers me about him is that he trades on the forex market. It's not the stock market, it's the currency market, and well, it's even riskier. I would never have ventured into that outside of this concept. Plus, I'll have to set up stop losses and so on because he gives very precise variables. Fortunately, the broker I chose allows you to set that up. Anyway, we're not going to get into the details. We're wondering if we'll actually make money like he says. Will we have a yacht in Dubai? I had to work hard to connect my bot. Honestly, I can't be bothered to read all the notifications that Seb is going to send me on Telegram. That's why I set up a Python Telegram connector that's linked to my account and will automatically scrape all the messages he sends. We send these messages to ChatGPT to analyze and return a full order JSON with buy or sell and the company name, then we execute it blindly. I think this is my worst program idea ever. Here's how it looks on the dashboard. We're not starting from zero since we don't have his portfolio. He only gives advice. Each time he gives a buy order, we'll invest €250 up to a €1,000 limit. Another person I want to test is simply a pro trader, a guy who really has experience in this, well, especially someone whose experience is proven and visible. They let you follow public trader profiles and copy them like a social network. Each profile shows their investment history so you can judge their success. This person has good results, so I chose to copy him. Note that a pro trader won't adjust to your strategy. I may have chosen someone who doesn't care about losing 20 on a trade. His approach is to take many risks across hundreds of trades, while for me, 20% is significant. Still, my curiosity drives me to try this experiment. If I return to my platform, I've copied all the stocks he currently holds, which creates this nice total curve. For the second to last person, let's look at a classic, Warren Buffett. When many think of stock market investing, they think of him. He's widely considered one of the greatest investors ever. He founded Berkshire Hathaway, which manages hundreds of billions in investments. Its company structure is very convenient. In the United States, again, there's a law that requires companies managing funds to publish a document called the 13F. As you might have guessed, it's a document that contains all the stocks bought and sold. Here's what the document looks like. It's awful to say. We're coding a bot to handle it since administration is a nightmare. Like Nancy, our issue is a delay. The document is only published quarterly, so we'll invest late. You might even say that if I run the experiment for 60 days and it's only updated quarterly, there won't be any change. Actually, what's perfect is that at the time I'm recording this video, Berkshire Hathaway is about to publish that famous form. It's coming out on May 15th. Plus, they've never had so much cash on hand, so maybe there will be a lot of investments. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I've added all the stocks proportionally to €1,000 as stated in their last statement. In a few weeks, we'll get that document and use ChatGPT to analyze the movements. I'm not confident since this company focuses on long-term investment. Unlike our 60-day approach, Warren Buffett is still one to watch. Here's my dashboard. The battle is starting. Before that, we're adding one last bonus person to our panel. Do you know Polymarket? It may seem off topic, but you'll see my point soon. It's a site where you bet real money on current events. It's unusual. France treats it as an online casino, so it's illegal there. That's why, legally, I can't invest real money in it. It'll be the only dashboard entry we copy just to see the outcome without making any purchases. This site is very popular internationally and often discussed on Twitter. You find serious bets like this, or this, and others that are really weird like this, or this. To sum it up very simply, Basically, it works kind of like sports betting. The difference is that it's an open system, and to ensure the reliability and honesty of the platform, everything is based on the blockchain, which is perfect for me. The blockchain is accessible to everyone. Everyone can see what's happening on it. I could look for someone who always wins and copy them. I got this idea from tweets where people say they found the best Polymarket trader. He made a lot of money last month. Honestly, it seems similar to what we're doing, but it's even more exotic and probably riskier than the stock market. Anyway, this is the profile I chose, who appears very successful based on his history. I used an open source GitHub project. I can automatically track everything he does, and in my dashboard we virtually place 200 euros on each of his bets. I chose someone who bets on short-term events, like, will it rain next Monday in Paris? That way there will be a lot of action over 60 days. What's crazy is that honestly, at any moment, if the guy realizes he's being copied, like if there's a tweet about him, he could totally manipulate the market. It's wild. Guys, everything is set up. The experiment can start. It's 8 days later, and honestly, there's already some movement. Well, not very positive. I think I'm down about 100 euros out of the 4,000 euro budget. The thing that really made a profit and stands out is the Polymarket Bettor. Seriously, it's unreal. It's been a week and he's up 760 euros. But spoiler, that's not what would have happened if I'd copied him. I'll show you what would have happened if I had. Actually, that's something I even discovered through this experiment. Since with him, I'm not investing my money directly on the bets he makes. In fact, my program was only tracking his losses and gains through the Polymarket API. And in this case, yes, it's a fact. He made money with his bets, but I would have actually lost money. And that's for two reasons. Number one, this guy trades in weather betting markets. It's very niche, so there's very little volume. If he buys up half the volume, then I come in after and end up paying 2 or 3 times more than he did. And just that alone can ruin profitability, especially since I imagine I wouldn't be the only one copying him, so there would be even more people buying. And second, between when he confirms his transaction on the blockchain and when I receive it through the API, dozens and dozens of seconds can pass. That's enough time for other pro traders to have already moved the market by investing before us, so we show up after the battle. To show this, I modified my model to add a buying delay. Here's the result. You can clearly see that I made some money at one point, but I lost it all the next day, and really it's not the same curve at all. I think it's cool to show you this. This demonstrates that copy trading on Polymarket isn't miraculous, despite what some claim on Twitter. Out of curiosity, I'll still show his earnings at day 30 and day 60. But keep this context in mind. On the stock market side, there's not much to say. Yes, if we look in detail at the investments of our 3 investors, there are losses. Except for Warren. But well, 1 week is way too early to analyze and try to draw any conclusions. Finally, on the Telegram trader side, I lost money, so I'll still say that you should take this with a grain of salt. Basically, he recommends a trading technique that's pretty technical. Honestly, it was even too advanced for me, so I let the AI reproduce the orders and the necessary parameters, but really don't do this. I still made sure that there was no leverage. To put it simply, leverage is a variable that will multiply your gains, but it will also multiply your losses. At any time, I could put in 200 euros and end up losing 2,000 euros with a really aggressive setup. Once you can lose more than you invest, it's honestly worse than a casino. So, in my setup, I probably won't make a lot of money, but at least I won't lose too much either. And that's a good thing because this week, obviously, it didn't work out for me. The experiment has run for a month halfway through, and it's getting interesting. You can see the progress. Honestly, the Polymarket Bettor is unbelievable. The guy makes a salary every month by betting on the weather. It's crazy. Well, I won't repeat myself, but you get that for me. It wouldn't have turned out like that. I might have even lost money. On the stock market investor side, we had a really good month. It was stagnating, and then we had a nice rise. I don't think the curves fluctuate that much, but actually they're pretty diversified. They have a lot of different stocks. Trader Pro is up by 30 euros, followed by Warren up 52 euros, and Nancy up 88 euros, who is number 1 for now. Then, when we look at the details for each one, for example, Nancy, we see that she's really invested in tech, especially Google, and this month there was some really good news in the tech sector. It's a booming sector, explaining the gains. I'd be happy. The other two are less tech-focused, so it'll be interesting to see who wins in 30 days. There hasn't been much buying or selling. I'm analyzing the historical portfolio. Nothing happened with Nancy or Warren as expected. For the Telegram trader, we're still at a loss, but the guy made good trades and recovered some losses. It's not terrible, but I wouldn't have resubscribed if I'd known. The experience is going to end here. Here's the final chart. Well, I'm going to stop commenting on the value of the Polymarket Bettor. It's unbelievable. We'll remove it from the chart since it's affecting the scaling. On the stock market side, Nancy is the big winner with an impressive gain of 188 euros. She made almost 19% for us. So again, she's really invested heavily in tech. And this month has been an exceptional month for that sector. In comparison, Warren is much more diversified. He has tech with Apple, for example, but he also has other more traditional sectors. And I even think think that right now, and this is confirmed by the latest report published by his company, he's keeping a lot of cash on hand. Maybe he's worried that the markets are going to go down because they're very high right now. That's his perspective. As for the pro trader, I know a lot less about the companies he's investing in, so I don't really want to speculate too much. That was kind of the point of trusting him, other than basic fit, which I do know, and apparently it didn't do him any favors. He was doing well and even led at one point, but now he's dropped. Still, we have 30 euros profit. On the Telegram side, results were mixed. I lost less than expected, but he still made a few small winning trades and recovered. I think what carried the game is that the stock market is in a pretty exceptional period right now. In a lot of sectors we're at all-time highs, and I like to think that if I had made this video after this period, it would have been different. There might be a drop in the next 2 months, and I would have been completely in the red regardless of who I copied, since it's a global trend. I don't recommend trading. Copy trading is an even less reliable way to make money. To reduce risk, you're always advised to invest in stocks for the long term.